Max Verstappen is now being speculated to pull off a shocking career move, something none of us might have expected a few months ago. Although we were writing about the possibility of moving to Mercedes or Aston Martin as alternatives if he were to depart Red Bull, Max is reportedly considering a sabbatical, which might prove to be a market scouting move ahead of him. But is this a likely situation? And if it is, how can he turn himself into a focal point of the 2026 silly season by simply opting out of it? There is no question about Max Verstappen's market volatility, in spite of all the reassuring words that are emanating from Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. The four-time world champion has been vociferous and categorical that he wants to stay with Red Bull, but there is a situation that none of us would have foreseen: the war on development. The Austrian squad is hemorrhaging points, and in comparison to the situation they were in a couple of years back, it's fair to say that they don't have a winning solution on their team. Far from it. If not for Verstappen, then we'll have a team that will potentially end up in the midfield or lower. An inside report by BBC F1 reported that Verstappen might well consider taking a year off and then concentrate on finding out which team has the best package to provide for 2027. I know what you're thinking. Both Mercedes and Aston Martin have signed up to their own lineups, and thus we don't have a particular need to speculate over a Verstappen switch to one of those teams. But remember that the promise was made around 2026, and with Alonso, Russell, and even Antonelli out of contract in 2025 and 2026, we could be witnessing a very interesting turn of events once the new rules take effect. Andrew Benson is the one who broke the news regarding the possible sabbatical of Verstappen. Spearheading this further, the BBC F1 journalist said, "One of the most interesting stories about Verstappen right now is that he might possibly take a sabbatical next year. Just watch how the regulations go, and then choose a team for 2027. That is a notion that was put to me, without even asking, by someone very close to Max Verstappen, so I wouldn't discount that as an idea either. I don't know if they are just messing about, of course, just to ruffle a few feathers a bit, but why not?" The issue has also been brought up by Oliver Mintzlaff, Red Bull's managing director, who visited Jeddah to discuss the internal conflicts that destroyed the team's performance early in the season. As per him, Max owes much to the Austrian team and shouldn't forget where he originated. He is 100% convinced that the Dutchman will stay with them, adding further, "We are all unhappy about the situation now. Nobody wishes to sugarcoat that. No, I am sure that Verstappen will take the long path he has taken with Red Bull up till now. Max will also be racing for us in 2026. On the one hand, he signed until the end of 2028 for a reason, and on the other hand, he has clearly stood his ground lately. Max told me once that he began his career at Red Bull and wants to finish it there. Up to my knowledge, nothing changed in this point. We gained a lot with Max, the world's best driver, but the truth is that a lot of gratitude is owed by him to Red Bull. There has also been plenty of external development, beginning with the Aston Martin bid that was supported by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the minority shareholder that controls about 20% of the Silverstone-based firm. They stated that they are ready to pay Max around 100 million per year over their course of 3 years, considering fact that they are paying nui 100 million per year over the course of 3 years, considering fact that they are paying nui 33 million per year and are working on state-of-the-art wind tunnels. This shouldn't come as too big of a surprise for us because money is likely not going to be the factor that will lure Verstappen. The development of their factories will. Another very important reason to think that Verstappen will change scenery beyond 2026 is the statement of Fernando Alonso. Although it was thought that the two-time world champion would have a valedictory season in 2026, that may not happen. The Spaniard said that he might be seeing more seasons after the initial one under the new regulations, and that could be quite different depending on what Aston Martin requires and desires from. Expanding on this and sort of opening the door for a Max move sooner rather than later, Fernando added, "There were things that were attractive last year when we sat down and negotiated the contract, but after 2026, I don't know. I will go season by season. I will see how I feel and how motivated I am. Now, I am very motivated, but I cannot promise that for 3 or 4 years and compromise the team. So we said, let's do it until the end of 2026. And then from then on, I think I have an incredible relationship with Lawrence and with Lance. We can sit and talk honestly between all of us and check what is best for the team. Therefore, if Verstappen goes on sabbatical, it raises a very critical question that must be addressed. Are these two teams the sole contenders for his signature? We've been made to believe that there's no other squad besides Aston Martin and Mercedes who could provide him a seat, but what we fail to observe is that Lewis Hamilton is close to his 40s and has not begun the 2025 season the way he wanted it to begin. Far from it. Aside from the sprint pole and sprint victory in China, there are few positives for Lewis, who confessed to having a lot of trouble with the handling of the car. Next, a speculative report suggests that Verstappen might be in the running for the Ferrari seat as well. No matter how daft that may sound, we do know, naturally, that the Maranello-based outfit would rather promote from within, observing how well Bearman does in F2. It would be a massive shot in the arm for their academy program. But again, this is a 4-time world champion that we are dealing with, and whether we like it or not, the situation is certainly going heavily in his direction. He can pick the team that he believes has the greatest potential to be the next champion because, currently, Red Bull is not near the top of the list when it comes to this query. With Hamilton out of contract for 2027, Verstappen's break in 2026 might become him signing a deal with the Maranello-based team. It was improbable as a scenario, we do know that, but who would have believed that Hamilton would quit Mercedes and move to Ferrari in such a blockbuster deal? And if the team had to pick between him and Verstappen at his peak, I suppose it's not that difficult of a choice. We've already seen that Max can win championships with the third quickest car on the grid, and if Ferrari somehow managed to create a car with a decent operating window and make the most of the newly regulated era, then it's not that difficult to picture Max in red. Not too long ago, in 2023, Verstappen was questioned about what his dream team in the sport is and whether there is any dream when it comes to his own tastes, to which he replied, "People always question me if I have a dream team. I know Ferrari has a great history in Formula One and is a great team to drive for, but I always told myself, I just want to be in the quickest car." Now, if you were to dash to him and inquire about what is currently happening, the reply would be straightforward. There is nothing more than sheer guesswork and talk. The Brit believes that there have been many discussions in the media that are not holding much sound arguments, and while giving his genuine opinion on Max's future with Red Bull, he continued, "There's been a lot of noise outside the team, inside the team as well. I think Max again reaffirmed his commitment yesterday. We are focused on making the car go faster. That is where our focus is, and Max is part of that. He is a committed member of the team, and the rest is all speculation and hearsay. Sort the car out. It doesn't need to become a discussion point." A large question mark here is Mercedes and Toto Wolff's commitment, who has not been reticent about showing his appreciation for Verstappen, although he is adamant that his team is now committed to the present lineup. I very much doubt he'll be of the same view if Max's availability is suddenly something to discuss. Speaking further to the aspirations and future of Mercedes, Wolff ensured to commit diplomatically to the existing drivers' lineup while not denying any semblance of relation with Verstappen, elaborating, "We hadn't had any talks with Russell at this time. Where it stands with George and Kimi, there's no question to query that equation for the future as it goes. We will take those discussions up once we are in the European season. There is no stress. Russell is performing at top levels, as we had hoped and expected. He is producing, there's no doubt about that. There is not more you could ask for than that. We have this summer window. We have no reason to challenge or query anything as things stand. With all of that in consideration, what are your thoughts about Max taking a sabbatical and joining a different team starting from 2027? And most importantly, do you believe he will attend another championship if he takes 2026 out from F1? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. And after you've done that, check out the video that is showing on your screen at this moment.